All right, hey everybody, it's Kelly Williams with the Kelly Williams Show in Bay Area Houston Magazine, and it is time for the Kelly Williams Show. Yay! All right, so I am on location today with my friend Todd McIntosh, and he's the owner of Space Center Automotive. Todd, you know, how do we know if we need new tires and if we're even doing what we need to fill them up correctly with air? And there's so many issues that people right now are dealing with. We're going to find out all about that. So what are you going to show us first?
Yeah, you know, you're right. Today's a perfect day for that. It's wet outside, and this is when you really need the traction in the tires and make sure that your tires are safe and in good shape.
Yeah.
One of the first things I'd like to start out with you on is, how do you tell, or how do you know what's the correct air pressure for the tires on your vehicle?
Yeah.
A lot of that gets misrepresented because they look at the sidewall of the tire, which we'll be looking at that in a few minutes, and whatever the side of the tire sidewall says is what the air they put in it. The correct way for any vehicle where to check for the correct air pressure, is always inside the door jamb of your car. It's either going to be located in two places. One on this particular vehicle is right here. On other vehicles, it will be inside the door itself. And that's the two places that you look for. And the other would be, on some vehicles, would be located here.
Oh wow,
so
very interesting.
It's going to be in one of the two spots there.
Very interesting.
And where the air pressure there is going to be, it may say the air pressure, it will give the air pressure for the front tires,
yeah,
the rear tires, and also your spare tire if your vehicle has a spare tire in it as well.
That's amazing, because so many people don't even realize the tire pressure information is inside the door of the car.
Correct. That is correct.
Because that would be different for whatever car you're driving.
That's correct. And sometimes even when you look at these tire pressures, the tire pressure on the front may be different from the tire pressure in the rear of the vehicle.
Yeah.
And it's very important on the way that the vehicle drives, it handles, and also for fuel economy as well, is to have the correct air pressure. And that'll also give you a lot longer life and to get the full life out of the tires.
Absolutely. And what's really interesting is that a lot of times when it felt like my car was riding rough or bumpy or something, it was just because I had too much air in the tire, or I didn't have enough air in the tire. There wasn't a worse problem than that. And so a lot of people don't even realize, just go get your tires checked for the air pressure. That's
correct. And if you have low air pressure, will make the vehicle pull either right or left. And one of the things that probably everybody is experiencing now is this tire pressure, this little yellow emblem that looks like a tire on their dash that keeps coming on. And you know, that's what to let you know that one of the tires, or more than one tire, is low on air pressure. And the way they have set that up from the manufacturer is if the vehicle gets, if it calls for 33 psi, and if it gets 3 pounds lower than that, once it hits 29 psi, it automatically sets the light up.
Oh.
The light on the dash.
Is that the one with the triangle with the exclamation point?
Kind of like a horseshoe looking yellow amber light.
Okay, horseshoe. Okay. See, there you go. I need this class.
But that is, and you know, and some people find that annoying because it's always on. But the truth is the change in the weather, humidity, heat, or even just the cool days that we've been having in the last couple weeks on there changes the ambient temperature on there, which changes the pressure in the tires, and that triggers that light on. You're always welcome to come here and have a free air pressure check, and most places will do that for you as well.
Well, and doesn't air pressure differences cause you to not get as good of gas mileage sometimes?
Correct. What's happening there is when the tire is low on air pressure, more of the tire is riding on the road surface than it should be, which is causing more friction, less rolling resistance. So when you have that, it's going to burn more fuel on there.
Okay, very interesting. Okay, guys, so now you know how to check your air pressure correctly. We're going to go inside and we're going to tell you, I'm so excited to find out this, how do you know you're getting the correct tire for your car, and what to look for when you're buying a tire or when you're just checking the tread. I'm so excited. So here we go. We're going to go inside to the tire wall.
Okay.
All right, so Todd, go ahead. What's really interesting to me is, anybody, especially being a female, and I don't mean that in a weird way, I'm just saying a lot of women don't necessarily understand about how to buy tires unless they've been, they're used to doing their own tire buying, or they've had to do some research and stuff like that. And I'm one of those people that doesn't really necessarily know like when I need to get my tires changed or what causes those kind of things. And I want to find out, what am I looking for when I'm buying a tire? Because a lot of times, if you're like me, when you over the past years, when you go somewhere, they'll say your tires need changing. Well, because of this, and they'll just point to something. And okay, yes. Well, how do I even know if you're telling me the truth, or what it really am I looking at? And this is what Space Center Automotive does. They're honest and they're fair, and they're going to help you, and they're going to tell you exactly what you need and when you need it, and not before. Good. Which I love that.
Good. Well, it all starts back at the car, where we looked at the plate, which gives your size of the tire in that door jamb. And then it also is going to give you the air pressure, which is very important. And the next thing it's going to give you is the speed rating and load of pressure of that tire. Very important keys to buying tires. So we started there. What I'd like to do next is how you can tell by looking at the sidewall of the tire what that means. And then we're going to go over into the tread area, and what the tread area for the tire, what it does, and how to buy a tire. So first off, if we look here on the sidewall of the tire, we'll get around to our size here.
Hey, there's always the name of the company who makes the tire, right?
Right. Okay. Michelin, Goodyear, whoever that may be, Firestone, okay. Pirelli. But when we come around on this tire, we come around, you look around the side of the tire, and you look for the size of the tire, and this tire, which will match what's inside, should match the size of the door jamb that's in the vehicle of your car.
I never even realized there were numbers on the side of a tire.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So what do those numbers mean? The first three numbers that you see here on this particular tire is 225, which means the width of the tire from the outside tread to the inside tread is a ratio of the width of the tire. The next one, the next two numbers, is the height of the sidewall of the tire, which would be from the wheel to the tread area in this area here. Your last number, which you see here in the 16, means what's the inside, which is the wheel size for that vehicle. So that's the inside diameter of the tire.
Wow. So
you always want to make sure you're running the same size that the car has in its plate inside the door jamb. I mentioned a moment ago, we also want to look at speed rating on the tire as well. And on this particular
speed rating?
The speed rating.
Okay, does that mean how fast I can go on a tire?
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Are there suggestions?
So we want to get around to that, what the speed rating is. And on this one here, you can see that it's a ZR speed rating.
Okay.
And let me find one more number on here as we go around on this tire. And here's your speed rating. This 92Y on this particular tire here, which is right behind the tire size. And what these two numbers is what this tire can withstand for 30 minutes of driving at a top speed.
Oh, wow.
And then the letter you see here is a Y, is what the load capacity of this side of this tire can hold. And so many times those get misrepresented on what these mean, or they put different size speed ratings or different size load ratings on the tire, which will make a big difference in the way the vehicle handles. And not only is the speed, but the load capacity. One of the things that you'll see too in tires, that now they have a shorter sidewall and it's not as tall. on there by them shortening the sidewall. For example, going through a curve where you're doing 60, 65 through a curve, and with a taller sidewall, you may find that you're doing this with the steering wheel and the vehicle feels this way. But as cars are being built for many years now, as they come on, you'll see these sidewalls getting shorter. And what that does is it stiffens the tire, so going through the curve, your hand will just do a steady turn instead of fighting it.
Wow.
And the car will sit flat and handle it through the curve. Makes a big difference.
Really interesting. Okay, I have a quick question, because what does Y mean on the weight or whatever you just said?
There's a low capacity,
For
each letter.
What does the letter Y mean? Oh, there is a capacity for each letter of the alphabet?
Yes,
There's that many?
Well, no, they have them like a Y, Z. There's about
Okay.
8 of them they have on there. But just long as that letter matches what's on the letter that's inside the car,
Okay.
it's very, very important on there. That'll make that vehicle stable, safe through that curve, and easier to keep the acceleration that you're at, or even accelerate more through the turn to be able to make it through it without fighting the steering wheel.
This is really interesting, because now we've already learned that you just have to look inside your car to make sure that somebody is selling you the correct tire for that vehicle. And that's a really big deal.
That's correct. Let's look at something else that's important on the sidewall when buying the tires. Well,
Okay.
and we want to go into traction and temperature. If you could see these two right here, your best tires is going to be at an A level in traction and in temperature both. You never want to go less than a traction A and a temperature B. If you get into the C's or lower, you're buying a really low-end tire.
Okay.
So it really depends on the application. If it's a work truck or something that's getting used off-road, that's fine. But if you want a premium tire to be safe and good rides, you really want to look for the maximum traction you can get, such as a day like today in the wet. Try to stay with an A or a AB at the minimum. Now, one thing I want to point out, as you go into a lot of tire stores, they'll try to sell you on treadwear. Like this treadwear says 500 on this tire. Never let that happen.
What does the 500 mean?
They're saying that this is just a higher grade tire by putting it in a 500.
Okay.
And then that it's going to last longer.
Okay.
But in the tire manufacturers have never put what's one and what's 1,000 and how do you determine on there. But a lot of people use that as a selling point to sell the tire. So always disregard that. That's one. Even though the tires put it on there, never buy off of that.
Okay, that's really interesting. That is a really good information to have when somebody has that experience. Don't let them say, hey, this is a 500, whatever, it's better, it'll last you longer. Don't buy it off of that information, buy it off of everything else.
You probably will find that number will be higher on the lower end or the cheaper tires.
Okay.
And they use that to sell that product on there.
Wow.
So disregard that. Don't use that one. Because that never was set in the tire industry, what's 1 and what's 1,000 and what determines in between that.
Okay. So first of all, I never realized how much information was on the side of a tire. Never. I never even saw it. I just saw like the name of the tire. Really interesting. This is amazing. Okay, so Todd, you know, what a lot of people want to know is that, which we're going to look at in just a minute, the tread of the tire. What are the differences? What do you need to look for? How do I know something I can check myself to see if my tire might need to be replaced? This is the big question for so many people.
Okay.
Tell us what the tread is and the differences in tread, which I'm really excited to find out.
Okay. This is the good part, and I'm going to show you, talk all about the tread and a premium tire.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go into a lower end tire and show you kind of what the difference is between the two.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to take this out, and first off is, how do you know that you need a new tire other than somebody just telling you you need a tire?
Yeah.
and you see that the tire's worn evenly across, it looks good to you, but every manufacturer of a tire does have to put what they call a Treadwear Bar Indicator.
We're going to move it up a little bit so producer Shelley can see it, but it's that little...
If you see this little line that I'm rubbing my finger on,
there's a little ridge there.
It goes all the way across the tire in the center treads, and it's about every quarter around the tire. As the tire turns, you'll see more coming around. There's another one.
That sounds like a new show as the tire turns.
But once the tread reaches that mark there, which is called the Treadwear Indicator, that's the way a consumer or customer can know that they need new tires.
Okay, so as soon as this main part is down to even with that little ridge notch, you're ready for new tires.
Yeah, or it's getting right there at it. That's when you need to start looking for new tires on there.
Okay.
And that's real important. That way you know yourself whether it needs tires or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
On there, than somebody just telling you need tires.
Absolutely. Okay, now, so Todd, there are lots of lines all over tires. And so many times they look completely different. But there's a reason for that.
That's correct.
So tell us what the lines actually mean and what they're going to tell us about how they're going to handle.
Okay. First off, your tread depth. Usually on a new tire, is going to, depending on the tire, it's going to come with about 10 to 12, 30 seconds of tread.
Okay.
It's now when you get down to 330 seconds.
What does that mean?
That's getting down where this tread wears down to that wear bar indicator.
What does 330 seconds mean?
That's the height of that wear bar indicator right here. That wear bar indicator is 330 seconds.
Okay.
But we're starting out with most cases 12-30 seconds of tread.
Okay.
So as you wear that 12-30 seconds down, you get down to 3, then it's time for tires.
Okay.
Because anything at 230 seconds or below is unpassable for your vehicle state inspection as well.
Okay.
On there, that's a safety issue then.
Yeah.
But every manufacturer will have that. But anyway, what you're seeing here in the tread area, and this is where I like to say, especially in our area where when we get rain, we get a lot of rain and we have a lot of flooding on the streets and all. So one of the things you want to look at when buying a tire is every tire is going to have the tread grooves going this way. So what that means, as you're driving down the road, it's able to disperse water out the back behind the tire. But one of the things you want to look at is your outside tread and your inside tread. You want to make sure this groove here is the same depth as this groove here in the center.
Okay.
Why is that? By having, this is what we call SIPES, S-I-P-E-S, and what it is able to do, not only is this tire throwing water out the back behind it, it's also letting water escape from the tire out both sides. When you find that you have a solid tread or get into a lower end tire, or what will happen is the water gets trapped in here and it can only go out the back, what happens is the vehicle then tries to hydroplane because the tire tries to get on top of the water. So what we're doing here, we're now throwing water out both sides and the back.
That's a big deal.
So it's keeping the footprint of your tread on the road surface on there. Now, be real careful on this. You don't want, and I'll show you in a moment, a tire that has a solid tread here. And what happens, that tire's going to be more capable or wanting to hydroplane on you because water can't get out the sides.
Wow.
So when you look at buying a tire, make sure, number one, that the sipe is the same depth as the tread inside. You do not want to purchase a tire that has a solid rib.
Okay.
Also, something you don't want, if you look in here and you see in this groove that halfway down, it's a solid piece of rubber down there. You don't want that tire either. Why is that? So the tire gets 50% worn. It's doing fine. And then once that tread touches that other notch there, it makes a solid rib again. Do you follow me on that?
Yes.
And so the water can't get out again now.
Oh gosh, okay.
So the last 50% usage of the tire, you've got hydroplane conditions going on then. So really, real important, just the main key is to make sure these sipes, these grooves, are the same as what the inside is.
Okay, amazing.
I'm going to give you a good example. Right here behind me, if you take this tire right here, you'll see what I'm talking about. Here's a tire that's going to be more pronounced to getting a hydroplane on you. You can see it has the sipes here. We can throw the water out the back, but look at your outside treads. It's blocked in. There's no way for the water to escape out either side. So this tire is going to try to crawl on top of the water, and more likely you're going to have the hydroplane condition.
Yeah, there's no connections.
There's no connection
to that middle tread, and so there is no way for it to push it out the side, even though these go toward the outside.
But it doesn't.
This is not connected.
It's not.
So that is incredible, Todd. I'm going to roll this right here because I'll have another question for you. Okay.
You know, I'd like to say one other thing also on there is that people say, you know, my tires are noisy, or how do I buy a quiet tire, or what's going to be the best tire that I don't have road noise with. And this is another thing to look at when you're looking in the tread area, which is real important. If you're driving down the road now, or it's just maybe hurting your ears, and you can just hear this continuous noise that's going on, that you're picking up the harmonics sounds from the tire is what's happening at that point. So one of the things you want to look at is if all tread blocks on the outside were the same size,
like this one. This one has the same size
tread blocks all the way around.
All the way around. All of these are exactly the same
Exactly
size.
the same. So that's going to be a noise.
That's going to be a Hummer.
That's going to be a Hummer, or you want to hear all the harmonics and everything. But if you look, so look at this inner and outer tread. If you look at the tread, this tread here is a lot narrower than this one here. They change it up every once in a while. If you see the wide tread, and then it comes around, and then here's a wide tread again. What they do is they change up the tread blocks, and that cuts the harmonics down to where it cuts down all the road noise on there.
Why is that? That's interesting.
It's just your better quality tires will do that on there. You know, as they put more, you know, time and expense into the tire when they do that. But, you know, it's a lot more technology here for sure.
Absolutely. So
that's how you're going to find your quietest tire as well for you.
This is incredible to know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like I could work here now.
We got you.
Come on down to Space Center Automotive and see Kelly. The tires. You know, this is really incredible. And Todd, you know, right now, there are still so many people struggling financially, and you know they cannot always go buy the best tire for their car. What are some options for them? Space Center Automotive does have good options that people are able to come get that may not be quite as expensive, but are still going to get them some good mileage on their car and be safe.
You know, you're always welcome to come by Space Center Automotive for free air pressure checks, free tire checks, or come over and let us look at the tires, or come over to the tire wall, what we call the tire wall, and talk to you about that. But one thing at Space Center Automotive is that we don't carry just one brand. We carry every brand a tire made. And by doing that, we're able to give the customer options, but we still can find in some of the manufacturers, even though they're not as highest mileage warranty, that still will have some of these characteristics in the tire on there, so it gives you a range. It may not be a Michelin, it may be something else on there, but or Goodyear, or whatever that may be, Pirelli, a Dunlop, whatever that may be, we can get you into one of the tires that'll, per your application, that will give you all these services here, and we'll help you pick the correct tire for you.
I love that. I'm going to tell you, every time you come to Space Center Automotive, they're going to treat you right. They're going to be completely honest with you. They're going to take care of you, and they're not going to tell you to fix something or to change a tire that you need to if you don't need them, and they will take the time to spend with you and let you know what you need to be looking at and what they're seeing and what you can look at. And I love that about Space Center Automotive, I have to tell you. You know, and Todd, how many years have you been in business here?
22 years.
22 years, people. He knows what he's doing. You know, and the interesting thing is you told me that, you know, the name of Space Center Automotive has changed a while back. What was the original name of it?
Well, we opened in June of 1999, and the original name was Space Center Tire and Auto. And we're much more than a tire store. We're probably 85% service. We work on all kind of vehicles from A to Z, from maintenance to major repairs. But our tire side of it probably makes up about 15% of our business. But when you say Space Center Tire and Auto, the loudest thing you hear in there is tire. Yeah. And if we had to just do tires only, we would have been shut down a long time ago. and truthfully. And so what we did is I'm in a bunch of networking groups and sponsorships around the greater Clear Lake Bay Area. And so every time somebody would introduce me, they'd say, "There's the guy with the tire store." And there's the guy with the tire store. And I said, well, we do tires, but we do a lot more than that too. Yeah. You know, tires is kind of our second thing. And so we changed the name to Space Center Automotive, and to take the tire out of there, even though we're a one-stop, one shop that we can do everything for all makes and models, whatever you may need on there. The only thing we don't do is paint and body. But outside of that, we can take care of it for you.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, and let me tell you something. It's always great, and I always like to mention this. When you have work done right here at Space Center Automotive, guess what you get? A free car wash. I'm telling you. And I get very excited about that because I'm going to tell you, very few places, businesses, go out of their way to make sure customer service is number one in their business. And this is just one little reason why Space Center Automotive has been hugely successful in the Bay Area. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you, they do it right. They will take really good care of you. And I'm going to tell you, Todd and his staff are some of the nicest people and most knowledgeable people you'll ever meet.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Besides giving to the community constantly, which we love that about you.
Thank you.
We're on the Kelly Williams Show. We love to help promote businesses that give back to the community, and Space Center Automotive has been one of those for years.
That's very important.
And I love that. It is very important, Todd, and that's why so many people really love you a lot and appreciate you and your business.
Thank you. Thank you.
So absolutely. Okay, so where are you located?
I'm at 16439 Moon Rock. Here in Clear Lake. The closest intersection to us is Bay Area and Space Center Boulevard. We do set about a half a block off of Bay Area. There's a Sonic and Ace Hardware. We're directly right behind them. And across the street from us is, a lot of people know as Tommy's Seafood Steakhouse over there.
Exactly. And look, if you have to drop your car off and wait, they have a truck, SUV, that they will drive you wherever you need. So you can go to Sonic, you can go to Tommy's, you can go to the mall, you can do whatever you want, and they'll take you there.
That's correct. I mean, we go to Lake City, Dickinson, Friendswood. That we have we have two retired gentlemen, and that's all they do is drive shuttle vehicles for us on there, and they're real friendly, very talkative. That will take you home or back to the office, and they'll also come back and pick you up as well on there. And every car that comes in leaves cleaner than it came in. We hand wash every vehicle and armor all the tires and vacuum them out on there, because my motto was, you know, we treat everybody the same. If you have a $300 car or $300,000 car, not all of us can afford those kind of $300,000 cars or $100,000 cars, but we're still going to give you the same service here.
Absolutely. Never once have I thought that I ever would be excited for something to go wrong in my car so I could bring it into Space Center Automotive. But I know that my car is going to be taken care of, and it's going to be really clean when I get it. Todd, thank you.
Is that why you always come by on Fridays?
It is. It's like I'm always here. It's like they already got coffee ready, and Kelly's here. Come on.
She always comes by on Fridays. I think she just wants a clean car for the weekend.
I need to go to the mall, Todd. Can you all drive me there? Exactly. Thank you so much for this. This has been really informational. This has been a great show, and I hope that you have learned a whole lot like I have today about what to look for on your tires and to see really if you need a new tire or if you may be being told something not correct. Now you know how to check it out. Share this show with somebody who needs it. I'm going to tell you, this has been a really, really great show, Todd.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Space Center Automotive is on the Kelly Williams Show every month, and we talk about really fun things. So you can catch Todd next month right here on the Kelly Williams Show. But we hope you have an awesome and blessed rest of your day, and come see Todd and his staff right here at Space Center Automotive, and you're going to be taken really great care of. So thank you so much, Todd.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, have a blessed and awesome rest of your day. You can watch the Kelly Williams Show live and on Facebook and YouTube every week. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye.